Hello, my dear students. Welcome back. In the series of learning programming in C, in the previous video, we have discussed about nested loops. In today's video, we will discuss about a new topic which is arrays. So those who are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon so that you can get the notification of all the new videos. Watch the videos till the end. And if you like the video, please click on the like button and share the video with your friends. Arrays. So let us see what actually the array is. So we have seen simple variable. So for example, I'll just say int x. So as soon as the compiler encounters this variable declaration statement, it is going to allocate the memory for that. Say it is of integer with respect to 16-bit memory. So 2 bytes of memory will be allocated for this. So 2 bytes of memory will be allocated and the name for this memory block will be x. And if I initialize a value for this, that single value will be stored in this variable. Well, I can't store multiple values in one single variable because single variable can store only one value. If I want to store multiple values, then I have to go on declaring variables. I say b equal to 20, say y equal to 30. It goes on like that and I'll be getting individual memory blocks. Say for b, say for y. So 2 bytes of memory I'm going to get. So 20 and 30 I'm going to store into that memory block. But just imagine if I want to store multiple values and if I have multiple variables like this, it will be very difficult for me to handle that in the program. So we should have a common name so that that common name can be used in my program to handle multiple values. That we can't do with this normal variable because normal variable or single variable can store only one single value. Say I say x, I say b, I say y. All these variables are storing one single values. In one variable, I can store only one value. If I want to store multiple values, I have to create multiple variables. Managing those multiple variables is very complicated. So what I can do, I can go with arrays. So what this array says? It says it is a block of memory that can store elements of similar type. It says you can have a block of memory and where I can store a set of elements, but one constraint, it says it should be of similar type. I can also say another way, homogeneous collection of elements under a common name. So how this memory will be created? It will be continuous, consecutive memory location. Say I will have a block of memory allocated to store multiple values, but it should be of similar type. Means if I say I want to store integer values, it should be only of integer type. Float, only float. Double, only double. Character means only character values like this. That is what homogeneous, similar type means. So let me give the common name for this as A. I can store n number of values into this. How many values I can store? That we can see in the declaration and all that. We can mention that in the declaration line. So it is a block of memory which is allocated continuously. I say consecutive memory allocation. Consecutive means continuous memory allocation will be done. And in this memory block, I can store multiple values. And for these multiple values, I can have a common name, say A. But how to access individual values? All those things we'll see now. But before that, we have to discuss about how well this arrays is useful to us in our programming. What are the advantages and disadvantages? So this is what the two definitions that what you can write. But here the advantage, when I say you only have one advantage, which says it can store multiple values. So array can store multiple values. So when I talk about an individual variable, say I say int x. So x can store only one value. Say I say x equal to 10. It can store only one value. But if I want to store multiple values, then I go with arrays. Of course, we can have multiple variables also, but it is very difficult to manage multiple variables in our programming code. So we go with arrays. But it has many disadvantages. It says the first disadvantage is it is homogeneous. Homogeneous elements means it can store elements of similar type. When I say I want to store integer values, only integer values I need to store. Float, only float. But talking about some entity, say for example, if I talk about this pen, I can define many features of this. I can say the size of the pen, color of the pen, brand of the pen, cost, all those things. Talking about size, I can say integer. Say color, I can say character array. Say cost, I can say float. So you have multiple type of values associated with this object. I can't store this multiple type of values which is of multiple types, data types. So you say integer, float, character. So it is heterogeneous collection of elements that we can't do here because it is homogeneous. So that itself acts as disadvantage because it cannot store variety of data. Then it is predefined size. Once I say I have to allocate a block of memory, that block is fixed. Say usually we mention some maximum size. They say whenever we declare an array, we say A of 100 means maximum 100 elements. But we don't store 100 elements. We may store less than that. But we cannot store more than that. If I say I want to store less than that, that is possible. But memory will be wasted there. But if I say I want to store more than that, say 100, I say 100 and I want to say I want to store 200, later on the execution time I'll decide I want to store 200, that is not possible. But saying 100, I can store less than that, but memory will be wasted. So that's why it says predefined size, fixed size. Once the size is fixed, I cannot change. I cannot shrink the memory. It cannot be reduced or it cannot be increased. That is what it says, static, fixed. The last disadvantage, it says memory is wasted. Of course, when I say A of 100 and I use only 50, the remaining 50 memory bytes that what I have allocated will be wasted. Out of 100 bytes, if I use only 50 bytes, the remaining bytes will be wasted because I cannot shrink it, I cannot reduce it. That is what the disadvantage of arrays. Well, we have many concepts in future which will come across to overcome all these disadvantages. So that is what with advantages and disadvantages. So let us see the declaration syntax and an example to declare an array variable. So it is data type followed with the array name, user defined name, that again we need to follow the naming conventions of identifiers, followed with dimension in square brackets. You should not use common brackets, it is square bracket. Dimension specifies the size of the array and a semicolon. So for example, I say integer array I am going to create. So I say data type int. Array name I am giving it as A. Within square bracket I am specifying the size as 10. So 10 means maximum 10 elements I can store. Not more than that, but it can be less than that. So as soon as the compiler encounters this array variable declaration, it is going to allocate the memory. So how it is going to allocate the memory? So for this complete block of memory, the common name is A. And so for example, the memory is allocated from 101. So 2 bytes, because to store one integer value we require 2 bytes. 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 2 bytes, 109 and 110. It goes on up to 120. Consecutive memory allocation. Now, so I have this common name and I have the address also. But how do we access individual elements? For that, we use the index values. We use the index value, or we also call it as subscript. So every element is identified with its unique index value or subscript value, which always starts from 0. So here I'll write it as A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, 3, 4, it goes on up to 10 elements means A of 9. So each and every element that what I store here will be accessed with its unique index value, which always starts from 0. So this is how the array is declared and how the memory allocation is done for arrays. Well, let me wind up with this topic. In the next class, we will see how to store the values into it, how to access it, and how to have default or constant values, and how to access during runtime. So stay tuned to my channel. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.